Oh, 6. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay, call this meeting to order. Good evening. My name is John Hins, and I'm the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Committee. I represent District 21, which consists of the south side of the city of Oshkosh, along Lake Winnebago, around the airport, all the way to the east side of Highway 41. In a moment, I will ask the members of the committee to introduce themselves, and I will also ask the staff to introduce themselves and explain the appeals procedure. The hearing process is as follows. Please turn off or silence your cell phones. All testimony is given for the record. Please come forward when recognized, and you will be sworn in by our stenographer. When talking, please speak clearly so that all in attendance can hear what you have to say. When you're giving your testimony, please state if you are for or against the item you are testifying about. The committee doesn't want conversations between members of the audience. If you feel the need to have a conversation with other individuals in attendance, we would ask that you please leave the room. If you have questions of a particular speaker, please come forward and ask your questions of us, and we will try to find out the answers for you. The committee will make its decision on January 5th. As with all county meetings, it is an open meeting. However, no additional testimony will be given at that time. This is your one and only opportunity to present testimony for the record. The deliberative meeting is held on the third floor conference room of the County Administration Building on Otter Street. The meeting time is 7:30 a.m. With that,
okay. I am Mary Beth Gabbard. I represent District 12, which is a portion of the town of Oshkosh and the northern portion of the city of Oshkosh.
Good evening, I'm Shauna Zastera. I'm District 32, east section of Utica, all of Blackville and Hanna.
My name is Howard Miller. I represent District 36, which are the towns of Wolf River, Winchester, and the western part of Clayton.
Daniel Fave, Assistant Zoning Administrator with Winnebago County.
Caleb Edwards, Code Enforcement Officer with Winnebago County. And I'll read in the appeals process for tonight for it's 2 zoning map amendments. 1, anyone wishing to protest a zoning map amendment needs to do so at least 24 hours prior to the item being considered by the county board. Contact the zoning office during normal working hours and staff will assist with this procedure. 2, an aggrieved person may appeal a final decision relative to a code amendment, either text or map amendment, by filing an appeal with a court of competent jurisdiction within 30 days of a final decision.
okay, thank you. And before we go into the agenda, I just want to say Chairman Egan is excused for this evening. He was barely making it through last night, so.
Understood.
All right, number 1. Vice Chair.
Application number 2023-ZC-6490, applicant Koznaki and others. Location of premises 6097 East Glengaze Road, tax parcel 030-005305 and 030-0813. Description being part of the west half of the zone. Somebody else.
Yep. All right, so I'll just start. Tax parcel 030-005305 030-0813. Legal description: being part of the west half of the southwest quarter of section 3 and being all of lots 56 and 57 in the plat of Placenza, surveyed as lot 1 of CSM-3995, located on government lot 3 of section 4, all in township 19 north, range 15 east, town of Winnebago County, Wisconsin. Explanation: applicant is requesting a zoning change from R1 rural residential and R2 suburban residential to R2 suburban residential for the reconfiguration of 2 lots.
Thank you, Sean. Is the applicant here for this item? Applicant on Zoom. Not seeing the applicant here. Okay, is there anybody else here to speak to this item? Anyone on Zoom here to speak on this item?
Yes, on the telephone Zoom.
Okay. If we can get your name and address and we'll get you sworn in.
Yes, name is Jeffrey Bernice. My address is 1758 Oak Ridge Place, the town of Neenah.
You want to raise your right hand? You solemnly swear the statements you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you're all set.
Thank you, Honorable Committee, for allowing me to speak this evening. Just very briefly, I live at 1758 Oak Ridge Place. I'm one of many local residents that are opposed against the parcel of land going to a commercial or some type of industry. We bought these properties for.
Hold on. That's item 2. That's the next item on our agenda.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. It's easy to get mixed up, especially if you've never done one of these meetings before, and even more so when you're online. So I understand.
Is there anybody else who wishes to speak on item number 1, which is Kuznaki? They're going from R2 and R1 to R2. Anyone on Zoom, please make some noise. Anyone here in the audience one last time? Kuznaki, item number 1.
Yeah. Okay, well, we don't have any, then we don't get any committee questions because we talked to, it's not open session for us, right?
You can make up.
But we can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, anybody have anything on this item? Okay.
Did we receive anything?
Are you okay with Sean reading?
She's reading.
Okay.
Make sure you.
All right, we'll go on to item number 2.
John, we just want to state we didn't receive anything from the town on that one.
Oh, okay.
Just for the record.
Yeah, I forgot to ask. That's the last one.
You're good.
Okay, so item number 2, applicant number 2023-ZC-6510. Applicant Steve Seegers. And agent is Steve Seegers Pigeon Properties LLC. Location of premises 1730 Oak Ridge Road, tax parcel number 010-029807. Legal description: being part of the northeast quarter of section 30, township 20 north, range 17 east, town of Neenah, Winnebago County, Wisconsin. Explanation: applicant is requesting a zoning change from R1, which is rural residential district, to I1, which is light industrial district.
Thank you. And as the applicant for this here,
Yes.
is there anything you need to speak on the record? Come forward and state your name and address and we'll get you sworn in.
Get in front of the camera.
No, we don't.
Oh, that's actually on here, so.
Okay. So
Karen, yep, your name and address.
my name is Steve Seegers, address 1710 Georgia Street, Oshkosh, Wisconsin 54902.
That's in my district, isn't it?
I don't know. Or district
Okay, Karen, you're up.
14 or
Right hand. You solemnly swear the statements you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, how's that?
Okay. So I don't necessarily agree with the zoning change from R2 to I1. I was just informed that's the only thing I could put down on the piece of paper. What I'm appealing to you guys here is that we allow a conditional land use permit. So the property was a workshop for the guy who developed that area. And when I bought it 2.5 years ago, I thought I was following suit and I put it into a workshop. Schmidt Electric is the renter who is in there. In doing so, we cleaned up the property, painted it, put new doors in, cut down shrubbery, got rid of debris. So I agree, industrial zoning does not make sense. So what I'm appealing to you guys is for a conditional land use permit while the tenant is there until their lease is done, that they're allowed to stay there, and that we don't make it a permanent zoning change. I do have a letter from a neighbor, if we want to put that into the record, stating that they would agree with that as well.
Just 1 second. That's not what this is about. We can't change what the petition is. So the petition, this is petition for an I-1 zoning map amendment. If he wanted a CUP over that, he would have to come in with a separate.
I already did that for the record, and they denied me at the window.
Correct.
So they told me I had to
legal reasons because
spend my money for this,
because of the business.
Correct.
I'm guessing.
Use permit cannot be applied for this type of operation in a residential district. His only option was to come in and try to get a zoning map.
Okay, and I just wanted to clarify that for anybody who's watching or anybody who's listening and has questions, so that way you all hear it.
This committee, and I just like to say, first of all, I'm no attorney, but this committee does not have the authority to hear a conditional use permit tonight or change.
Correct, and that's why I was that's why I was dotting I's and crossing T's with you. Okay.
That's all I have to say. Do you have any questions for me?
I just have a question, just maybe for you, but question for Daniel, if possible. So so you're saying that as far as a conditional use permit, we cannot ask any questions about that?
No,
yet?
This is off the table.
Okay, so it's only
the zoning map amendment in front of you. Everything else you cannot speak of.
okay, sounds good. I just had to hear that again.
Yeah.
And if you caught when I was talking with Daniel, the reason the reason the CUP was turned down right away was because of the business being there. You can't have it on a residential
and that's in our
zone district. Okay. So that's why the zone is here in front of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure you understood that.
Okay, that's all I have for now, but I might have another question before I sit down. Anybody else has any questions?
Anybody else? Oh,
no.
What about you?
I don't know if this is across the line or not. Maybe you'll have to answer it, maybe. So has he paid 2 separate fees, or I wanted one thing and you said you can't do it, you have to get this? So
Correct.
is only one fee paid?
There was only one application.
Okay.
Refunded the conditional use permit.
Okay.
Or maybe they transferred it.
Yeah, they transferred it from that to this.
So
yeah.
Whichever way.
Okay.
There was only one fee paid.
Okay, so you're saying, Steve, that you don't necessarily agree to the I industrial.
Correct.
And can you tell me why?
Because it doesn't make sense to have a shop with 24-hour service that can run forklifts and outside storage in a residential area. We see kitty corner that Ogden Plumbing has that zoning, but it's also not sandwiched in the middle of residential housing.
You say kitty corner Ogden is?
Yes.
That's industrial?
Correct.
Okay, I don't remember seeing that on there.
Sir, I just want for the record, you're in opposition to your own zoning map amendment.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comment about how you don't agree with the current?
I think I've said what I've
Okay.
said, and I don't know that there's any more to say.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and I'm gonna come back to you, Daniel, just for one last explanation, so that way it's crystal clear. We have a business that's on a residentially zoned parcel.
Yes.
At this time.
Mm-hmm.
For that business to be legally run on that property, it needs to be in the light industrial zoning.
Correct.
If it runs in the residential, it is
in violation.
In violation.
Correct.
Has it been in violation?
Yes, that's what started this.
Before this gentleman purchased?
I'm not sure of that.
Okay, I'm not either.
Question.
That's
Did the violation department, is that what spurred this?
Yes. Yep. This was
Okay, all right.
us contacting the owner, then the owner coming in and trying to figure out what he can do if this was his route.
And just responding to
Yeah.
that. Okay, all right, thank you.
No, this is great. We'll get it out. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Did I not hear or see somewhere that this business has been in there since 1972?
No, the shop was built in 1968. So the previous owner of the land built it as his shop in 1968.
Okay,
So before Winnebago County had ruling authority over
Yeah.
the town of Neenah,
sure.
which started in the 80s. So it was built and therefore grandfathered in before Winnebago County had overreach.
Okay, another question. If this is turned down, what happens to that business that's in there? They
Has to
can't,
be removed.
has to be moved or,
And I'd also like to note staff does not agree with that timeline of things. We have a different take on it.
Okay.
But this probably isn't the place for all of that.
That'll be the next meeting. Sean.
I do appreciate that comment though. If it's turned down, Steve, do you know, are you able to comment about what would happen or what the other solutions might be?
Nope.
You're not able to comment on any of that?
Oh man.
Thank you.
Again, that's what we'll discuss the next meeting. That's what they'll get all their information for us.
We'll get more information at the next meeting
They
about
always
that.
do. That's the one we vote at.
do you have anything from the town of Neenah yet?
Yeah, so the town of Neenah, we have their town resolution. And just as a summary, the town of Neenah disapproves of the rezone. And they found that the town has an adopted land use plan, and the rezoning action does not agree with the town land use plan. And the other reasoning was that the neighboring property owners are opposed to this as well, was the town's resolution.
May I take a look at that?
Yeah.
So if I can get this kind of in order, it was under their jurisdiction at one time.
Way back when.
And then it came under our jurisdiction, and under our jurisdiction, the zoning doesn't match. And therefore, they had it matching what their plan was, but now if we're getting it into what is acceptable for the
I don't
county.
even know if it matched the town of Neenah's plan at the time or what it was or what it isn't. Again, you can share with that at a later date.
Okay, so that's information we're gonna need at the next meeting.
Yep.
So. Just to make sure we have that. Any other questions for the petitioner? Or will we have him up here? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
May call you back depending on what we hear here. So, is there anybody else here to speak on this item? Step forward and state your name and address.
I live at 1798 Oak Ridge Road, which is kitty corner from the property. We just had a town meeting.
Hold on. Go ahead, Karen.
Want to raise your right hand? You solemnly swear the statements you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you step closer towards the microphone, please?
There we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead now.
All right. We just had a town meeting on this not that long ago, and all the neighbors that were behind Mr. Seegers, and I'm one of them that's close to that. They couldn't make it, so I guess I'm here as a spokesman. They asked if I'd come speak on their behalf. We already went over all this at the town meeting, and we said we really didn't want that. We don't have a problem with his properties the way they are and him running it the way he is running it right now. We don't have any bones to pick. The problem I'm having is 20 years ago when I moved to the town of Neenah, the same exact thing happened to me. And it was residential, and then it was zoned, and then all of a sudden everything was overtaken and I had to move. I don't want to do that, and neither do these other people, because this is their like forever homes. Okay. If you look on your stuff, people on Oak Ridge Road don't move. They stay there. Okay. And that's the reason why I moved there, and I have a field across from me, and I know that nothing will ever get done with that because we already checked into all that too. So I guess since we already did this at the town meeting and it was turned down, like I said, nothing against Mr. Seegers. I just wondered, why is it going on again? I guess I don't understand.
This zoning map amendment is under the county's authority. The town has input that they can tell the committee.
Okay,
This committee is what ultimately decides to move this up to county board,
okay,
and then county board decides yes or no.
okay. So that's just, I guess, I wanted to give you what happened at the county board if it didn't come up in the paperwork or whatever.
No, and we appreciate that because like I said, this is our learning process. This is where
Okay.
you guys all get to.
Yeah, it's
give us
just
your
that, you know,
input.
the houses are butted right up to this property. And there's people that, you know, I mean, a lot of the people that are in this area are all more or less retired or going to retire. And that's the reason why there's concern about it, because, you know, where's it gonna branch out from here? Right now, that land is being filled. You know, if the land is being filled, we don't know why. He's filling the property in that he has there, and we don't, is something gonna be built there or what? As far as I was always told from the town board for years, was that's always an R1, and it will remain an R1. It was supposed to be an R1. So that's the reason why I came here, because I didn't know if anything was thought about or changed or just input.
And believe me, if I know my committee, this will be greatly discussed at our next meeting.
Okay.
So don't feel like any of you were saying is falling on deaf ears.
No,
we take it all in.
No.
So
just I take the time to,
no,
if you had any questions for me or anything where we are, you know, because we know all our neighbors. We've lived there all for years, so.
Yeah, thank you for your testimony, Randy. So you said the town had indicated to you it was always R1 or something. What did you say about
They said
that?
it was always an R1, and it was intended to be R1, and it was actually brought up by one of the town people, the town, not the town chairman, but somebody else, that has always been known as R1, and that's the way it's always been, and they knew that whole area was going to stay R1. And that's the reason why people moved there like they did. And that's the reason why we moved there.
Okay. The land being filled,
I believe that's subject to a different property that is not on the purview of what we're talking about tonight.
it's not on this particular parcel?
No, you may have to ask the applicant. I'm not sure.
The applicant, okay. All right.
Save that question because if we'll wait to call them back up at the end.
Okay.
For any more. Any other questions or?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Anybody else here to speak on this item? Please step forward, state your name and address, and Karen will swear you in.
Andrew Van Dre, live at 8410 Schmidt Lane, Fremont.
Want to raise your right hand? Do you swear the statements you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I'm the business owner. We signed the lease coming up on 3 years ago. We are a small operation. I have 5 employees. It's literally where we just park trucks at night, and I have an office there. The only noise we make is me typing on a laptop all day and answering phone calls. And aside from 3 or 4 deliveries a week, which is less than Amazon delivers to almost every house in the neighborhood.
Especially this time of year.
Especially this time of year. You know, that's about as big a disturbance as we make.
So you're saying you don't do anything inside that shop at all? You don't?
It's storage. It's where we keep our parts.
So you basically load up and move, head out.
Yep. My guys meet there in the morning, fill out their timesheets. I tell them where they're going. They leave, and I stay in the office. I don't even park my truck outside to try to make it less busy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so I'm not trying to repeat myself, just trying to make it crystal clear. There's nothing that goes on inside there other than you guys storing stuff in there, your timesheets and some.
I change my oil here and there, just because it's.
But you don't have any manufacturing, any repairs, any,
nope.
Nothing of that sort. Okay, that's information that I think we'll definitely need. Anybody else?
Okay. So, Andrew, you have, I understand what you're saying with all of this. I guess you said you just signed the lease, or what's the deal with you? 3 years ago, you've been there for 3 years and you just signed another lease?
No, I believe 2 years ago, we renewed the lease to take over the whole building. I believe we have about a year left.
So you're in like the year 2 or the 3 year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. And then, so then, if I could ask Mr. LeFay a question? Okay, so when they would have done that lease, was the planning and zoning, can I ask, involved in that?
No.
Okay.
We were not aware of this. This
Okay.
violation was submitted to us either anonymously, and I believe the town did have something to say to us.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Just a little detail. And then another question for you. All right, so for Mr. LeFay, when you have a business operating, are there ways to do that, within code? Is there another way that you could, as far as?
This is the only way. And I can read you the definition of what's occurring on the property that we've classified it as. It's a contractor yard, and if you let me, I'll read it to you.
Yeah.
So the definition of a contractor yard is a place where a contractor or builder may establish a base of operation, which may include one or more of the following: office space, indoor and outdoor storage of construction materials, equipment, and machinery, such as trucks, heavy equipment, and shops for the repair of machinery and equipment owned by the operator. So as long as it has any one of those items in it or more, it qualifies as a contractor yard.
So it's qualified as a contractor yard,
Yep.
and then the under industrial.
Yes, so under our matrix, a contractor yard is only allowed within industrial uses, I-1 and I-2.
Okay, thank you, and thank you, Andrew.
Oh. Thank you very much. Yes. Let me get through everybody, because I think we may have a question or two for you coming from us also. So, is there anybody that's on Zoom that's here to talk this time? I know we have at least one person.
Anyone on Zoom who wishes to speak to item 2, Patron Properties LLC, please make some noise. I see everybody is muted right now. You'd have to unmute yourself. For our individual on the phone, I'm going to unmute you myself. I believe on the phone to unmute yourself, it's *6.
Must be. Oh, they don't know.
Anyone else on Zoom for item number 2, Patron Properties LLC, please make some noise. You have to unmute yourself first.
Okay, that is well, everybody that we hit.
Oh, sorry.
We're gonna call the petitioner back up here, because I'm guessing we have at least a question more. Okay.
Okay, so Steve, just curious about the land being filled. Can you tell me what that meant? That comment was.
It's not on this thing on this board, so we're not talking about it.
Yeah, different property.
Different property, different parcel.
Okay, I wasn't clear on that.
Doesn't touch. Well, that one touches the neighbors. This particular one, Bushmill Electric, doesn't touch any neighbor except for 2 parcels that I own that tenants are in.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Sure. May I rebuttal? Yeah. So by definition,
we can get some answers.
yeah, by definition, in the book, underneath contractor yard, the words that I heard were builder space. Jim Sturgis, who owned it and built it in 1968, owned Sturgis Homes and built homes all around there. So since its inception in 1968, it's already been a contractor yard. That's it.
Okay, I have a question about that. So this whole township and the, having jurisdiction and then the county, how did that all work? Can you tell me anything about, so, you know, it seems to me like, if I understand correctly, you've got the township governance. They did their own zoning?
Nina's within our comprehensive zoning. They've adopted our zoning.
They adopted yours.
So that's why this is here.
In the 80s or?
I don't know when that was adopted by Nina. I'd have to go back and look. That doesn't matter at this point.
No, it doesn't matter, but I'm just trying to figure out the overall.
Well, basically what it was before that it was adopted, they were under their own jurisdiction, correct?
Yeah.
And they grandfathered it in, then they adopted ours, and we had never known about this until someone reported.
Correct.
Okay, and that I guess to me is kind of just something I wanted to clarify, that they were, and then you, and then now
I should make this real clear. They, if by chance they did have what Mr. Seeger said, and they did have this contract yard operation, they are only grandfathered into what that was exactly at the time. So then when Schmidt Electric moved in, that's a whole new operation moving in. They lost their grandfathering, that's a different operation. So it wouldn't matter even if there was a grandfather clause to something that may or may not have been there. They already changed the business, whole new operation.
whole different
kind of operation.
Whole different applicant.
Correct.
Even?
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
So base one.
Okay.
Starting over.
All right.
Thank you.
I have a question for Mr. Seeger. Excuse me. Did you know about this when you bought this?
No.
Because I'm thinking you obviously didn't know.
No.
Okay.
This is how I work. This is how I dress. I don't wear a suit and tie. I don't, to my own detriment, I didn't look into things before I placed a tenant.
Because there was a business in there.
There was, so I was figuring it was like use. And to say that the builder of the homes didn't do electrical is a moot point, but.
So if this doesn't, what do you think your options are if this doesn't get, if this gets turned down? Do you go to your tenant, tell him he's got to move?
He is under a lease, so that's a lawyer thing.
Yep.
Above my pay grade.
Very interesting.
Yes, we're gonna have a good discussion.
Okay.
All that.
So the next meeting, is that just a closed session meeting?
It's on,
or is that on my list of meetings to show up to?
Open to the public, but no further.
it's open to the, yeah, it's
That's
open to the
only
public.
their discussion.
Question.
Yes.
Is the public able to speak during public comment time at the beginning?
There is no public comment at the beginning. It's deliberative.
It's just.
Okay.
It's only deliberative.
Another question for Mr. Lefebvre. Regarding another question for Mr. Lefebvre. So one regarding this situation, is there any grace period, let's say, for if that once we change? I mean, what is the?
Depending on how this works out, I should mention this is in current process of court. It's in the court system right now already. Winnebago County versus Mr. Seegers. So I can't comment much on that other than whatever the outcome you decide sets the tone for what's to come. So
okay.
Say the court or say you guys knock this down, we will work with Mr. Seegers until he's moved out with his operation. Unless some appeal or whatever else we're doing.
Okay. Is there any option for mediation? Because I am a mediator. I mean, I think mediation, and I want to ask that. are there,
Well, first we have to figure out what happens with us
okay,
before we know.
This is all, yeah,
Yeah.
I would stick to the issue tonight, leave it up to the courts and staff to
Yeah.
figure out the rest.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good, good. Thank you very much. See, nothing else on our agenda for this evening. Do you have anything for us at all?
Any other testimony, comments, read in the town?
I did have one email from another property owner.
Okay.
The owner is Penny Lancaster, the owner at 1741 Oak Ridge Place in the town of Neenah. She wanted to submit on record that she opposes the rezoning from R1 residential to L1 light industrial. And that's really all she had to say on that. So she was against.
Very brief email, I see. Okay, anybody else have anything? I'll accept the motion.
So moved. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed. We adjourn.
Thank you, Karen.